Why, ma'am, the physics teachers are so silent? Anyone, please unmute and say that.
The physics is okay, sir. I think the singing part now, the pitch and notes and everything is will affect now. Physics. High pitch, low pitch.
It's not only 4 line, I expect. Whether it's
Yes, I think
it is rhythmatic.
Some of the teachers, anyone
Yeah,
can come forward and just render a prayer. Just 4 lines will do. The physics teachers, anybody who can come forward, we should not go back.
Usually, last couple of subject-wise webinars, it's a high enthusiasm for the prayer song. Within 1 or 2 invitation from the host side, voluntarily teachers are suggested, I will recitate a prayer song. Physics group is so silent. Why? Please, my dear teachers, it's your time. Then I can tell you that even the physics teachers also recitate a prayer song. Even math teachers group, they done it. English teachers done it. Then who else? Malayalam and many subjects. Last day social studies. So my dear PGT physics teachers, from one among you, please ready for the prayer song. I don't think so. It's a Herculean task. Is it so? If they are not ready, we are going to recitate. Am I correct, ma'am? Please, someone unmute and say that. Please unmute and say, I am going to recitate prayer song.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Is a prayer is okay without reciting it?
Anything. No issue, ma'am.
Yeah, I will do, sir.
Okay, can you introduce yourself first?
I am Jimple Tom from SFS Public School and Junior College, Etumanur.
Great, ma'am. So now it's time for 6:59. You can start the prayer now.
Okay, sir. Enlighten our minds, O Lord, and help us to understand what will be taught and to retain what we are going to discuss, so that we may become wiser and better. Amen. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Yeah, we can start the session with the sharp time. The rest of when join meanwhile. I hope so. So keeping time punctuality is also a part of education. So good evening to all. On behalf of Central Sahodaya Conclave Kottayam and Council of CBSE Schools of Kerala, we are fortunate to have 2 eminent resource persons with us today for the Senior Secondary Physics webinar. The subject title is Decoding Sample Question Paper and Marking Scheme, published by Central Board of Secondary Education for the upcoming examination, Board Examination 22-23. So let me introduce today's resource person, Srimati Gayatri R, PGT Physics, Bhavans Girinagar Vidyalaya, Srimati Swapna Pillai, PGT Physics from Bhavans Girinagar Vidyalaya. On behalf of Central Sahodaya Conclave Kottayam and Council of CBSE Schools of Kerala and all the participants assembled over here, let me welcome both eminent resource persons for the session. Welcome, both of you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, one more word. As you know that Central Sahodaya School Conclave and Council of CBSE Schools of Kerala is a joint venture by our patrons. Central Sahodaya School Conclave, our president, Srimati Marina Sebastian, Principal Lifeal International School, Pudupalli, Kottayam, and our secretary, Vinitha G. Nair, Principal Alfin Public School, Kottayam, and our treasurer, Mr. N. Neelakandan, Manager, Sri Shankara Vidyalaya Vaikam, and all the patrons and team leaders of Council of CBSE Schools of Kerala. Our technical partner, Insight E. Insight E is a service provider for the schools, especially for the CBSE schools. They are providing the services for the holistic progress card, teachers assessment, and ERP software, and so and so. So on behalf of Insight E, representing today the Managing Director, Mr. Shuhaib. Welcome, Shuhaib, to the session.
Thank you, Ranjit sir.
So once again, I sincerely thank our patron and team leaders and our technical team Insight E, and especially the special thanks to the team leader of Bhavan's Girinagar Vidyalaya, Kalyani ma'am, the principal of Bhavan's Girinagar Vidyalaya, and Ramakuti sir, the patron of Bhavan's group of institution in the Ernakulam region. So special and sincere thanks to both of you, the team leader of Bhavan's Girinagar, Kalyani ma'am, and Ramakuti sir, to providing the resources persons for us. And dear participants, during the session, you can feel to interact with the resource person through the chat box. The chat box is open. Kindly use the chat box and ask your clarification and say your suggestions. I wish today's session will be a more interactive and effective one. So congratulating both the resource person. Now the session is open for you, ma'am. The floor is open for you. You can start your session. All the best.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Ranjit sir, for the warm welcome and introduction. Thank you to all the CSCK authorities also for giving us this opportunity today. And a big thank you to all the teachers who are here, who have assembled after the school hours here. Thank you to all. So, sir, can we just have the screen presented? Can we wait a moment for the screen to be presented?
Sure, sure. You can.
Hello, Gayatri.
Yes.
Can you see the screen now? Is it okay?
Teachers, are you able to see the screen?
Yes, ma'am.
The PPT is visible, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Education is not the learning of facts, but the training of the mind to think. Namaste, everyone. Good evening. First of all, let me express our happiness to be here with the team of physics teachers. It's always overwhelming and fulfilling to share thoughts with people of the same wavelength. So we are not planning for a one-way interaction. We would like to have inputs from your side as well to make this gathering lively and energetic. Usually when we enter a class, as teachers, all of us want a lot of positive energy. So let's be positive always and also do some teamwork and collaboration and gather together in common platforms like this to be able to discuss the new challenges in the question patterns that come up every year. CBSE, as you all know, is bringing a lot of changes to shift from rote learning to competency-based learning. And we know that all the major universities now, they are giving entrance exams for admission in order to get the best students. So CBSE is actually trying to bridge the gap between what our students learn in the class and what they apply in real life. So this requires developing skills such as reasoning, critical thinking, visualization, and art integration. So all, as teachers, we know how difficult it is to frame question papers every year with new changes in the question pattern. So what we need to understand is that CBSE is making these changes to the exam patterns to make sure that students are more competent at the end of the day. And as teachers, it's our responsibility to make sure that students are well equipped to navigate these changes. And as you all know, such a question paper pattern change has happened now. Already we talked about CBSE is moving towards competency-based, concept-driven questions. And these questions that CBSE has now put forward, these are more challenging to the students. And these questions are not part of NCERT books. The students will have to properly understand the concepts and then apply them in answering the questions, and that too in the limited period of time. And as part of today's agenda, we will go through the sample question paper shared by CBSE with the new exam pattern. As you can see, according to the new question paper pattern, minimum 30% of the questions will be competency based. And these can be in the form of MCQs, case-based questions, source-based integrated questions, or any other types, which can include real-life application questions also. Objective type questions is around 20%, and the remaining 50% is short answer and long answer questions. So compared to last year we had 2 exams, term 1 and term 2. But this year we have only 1 exam with more of competency-based, concept-driven, and more of MCQ. So this is a huge change compared to last year's marking scheme. Now, let us have a detailed study of the sample question paper issued by CBSE for this academic year. Let me invite my colleague Swapna to take over.
Thank you, Gayatri. Thank you, Gayatri.
Just a moment, Swapna, I'll present the screen. Is the screen visible?
No, ma'am.
Is it visible now?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Swapna?
Yeah, is it visible now? I think.
Yes, it is
Yes, ma'am.
visible.
It's visible. Yes.
I cannot see the participants now. One minute, sir.
Swapna ma'am, currently Gayatri ma'am's screen is being shared.
Yes, but then I'm not able to see the Gayatri. Now it's on my screen. It's competency based that heading. Is that correct?
Gayatri
No,
ma'am,
you
can you stop sharing the screen?
Yeah, now I got stuck. Okay. Just now I
okay?
got.
I'll share it again.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Gayatri, for briefing the change in the question pattern. Now, before going through the latest CBSE sample paper, I think we must be familiar with the deleted topics and the what are being added this time. Because unless we know what is being added and deleted, so we will not be able to go properly through the sample paper. So as we go through the first chapter, electrostatics, compared to the previous year, this time the spherical shell, uniformly charged thin spherical shell is been added. Then second chapter, current electricity, the major topics like meter bridge and the potentiometer, its application, which is very important for our practicals also, is being deleted this time. Then the moving charges and magnetism as such, whatever is deleted earlier, the cyclotron, the same part is deleted this time also. Then the fourth chapter, magnetism and matter. As you see, there is a lot of topics been added this time. That means the magnetic field due to dipole on the axis, equatorial, then torque. Okay, everything is been added, but in a it is not in a quantitative way, but it's in a qualitative way. That means we have to give a expression. Okay, minor part of that. I mean, full derivation is not required, but you should know the formulas, everything, because the case study questions can come from this side. Then the very important topic, there is para, dia, ferro, magnetic, that everything is included this time along with the examples. Then electromagnets and the factors affecting strength, permanent, everything has been added. Okay, added this time. Then one major thing is the Earth's magnetism is deleted this time. So that part we don't have to take. Then alternating current, the power factor and the wattless current is been added this time. Now moving on to the sixth chapter. Now ray optics, or as such the optics. I think the previous. The optics, the full thing is optics. There is a ray optics and wave optics together. We can call the optics chapter, which is very important when we talk about the CBSE exams. So we can see the thing which is added, that is the spherical mirrors. Okay, so last time it was not there. This time we have to teach spherical mirrors in detail. Okay, then in wave optics, we have a resolving power of microscope and astronomical telescope. That means resolving power, only that part is deleted. Then the polarization, as in the previous case, everything is deleted this time also. Dual nature of radiation and matter. Okay, the previous topic, there's a Davison-Germer experiment to illustrate the wave nature of electron is deleted. The nuclear chapter, the topic which was deleted last time, that is included this time. There's binding energy per nucleon and its variation with mass number. That is a graph type question. So that is included this time, where we can expect the case study questions, because paragraph questions can be given from this. Then electronic devices, we have we have to include the diodes. Okay, diode, but special type of diodes is not there. That means LED, photodiodes, and diode, everything is deleted this time. So overall, we can see there is only 15% reduction this time compared to the previous time, which is 30% reduction. So we have a few only these deleted topic this time. Now moving on to the Bloom's taxonomy, we know when we frame a question paper, ask everybody, you people know that the paper designing includes all these factors like remembering, understanding, application, analyzing, evaluating, creating, everything we have to include when we design a question paper. Okay, how much the student understands? That's the outcome actually, what they understand. So based on understanding type question, they can add application. So which is able to convert AC to DC. So identify the device. So indirect questions. So we have to identify that as a rectifier, and then we have to proceed to the question. Similar transformer also, a device which can convert low voltage to high voltage. Identify the device. So instead of directly giving what is the transformer, they can ask you application. Okay, so like that. Then evaluate, so creative. So all this comes under the Bloom's taxonomy. So this is the Bloom taxonomy. Everybody knows this is the hierarchy. So all these things. So we have to include all these things when we discuss the sample paper. Now moving on to the sample paper.
Yeah, the sample question paper this year given by CBSE has 35 questions altogether. And all the questions are compulsory. And the question paper is divided into 5 sections. Section A, B, C, D, and E. And all the sections are compulsory. Now, section A, it contains MCQ and assertion reasoning questions. And there are 18 questions, each carrying 1 mark. So most of these assertion reasoning questions require a lot of concept development. Only if the teacher, only if the student understands the assertion, I mean, the concepts, they can answer the assertion reasoning questions. So when we teach, we have to make the students understand the concepts properly. Then section B has short answer questions of 2 marks. And there are 7 such questions. So the total is 2 into 7, 14 marks for section B. Also, we get 2 internal choices in section B for 2 questions. For section C, it is 3 marks question. And there are 5 such questions. So the total marks for 3 marks is 15 marks. Section C also has 2, internal choices. Section D, it's long answer questions, the usual 5 marks, which we used to see from earlier years. But nowadays, the 5 marks are coming as different subdivisions, not a single question. There will be different parts for the question. So there are 3 such questions, and the total marks is 15. So each of these questions will have an OR option. And section E is a case study question, where we have 2 case studies questions, and each of the case study will have 4 questions with 1 internal choice. So the total marks for the case study is 8 marks. So total number of questions is 35, and the total marks is 70.
Okay, as Gayatri said, the pattern, that means how the number of questions have been increased this time, is 35 now because of the MCQ. So the thorough knowledge of the or the concept should be very much thorough with the student. Then only they will be able to score the MCQ questions. As we know, all the universities are now conducting the entrance examinations. So our students also should be able to, they should develop this habit of answering the concept based. That means they have to answer the multiple choice rather than writing all the rote learning derivations and all. They should be aware. We should be able to train them to write this multiple choice question. So what we are doing here is, as we go through these questions one by one, we will be sharing a Google form link to you, link to all the teachers. It will be pasted in the chat box. So as and on, we will discuss the questions. The teachers can rate each questions in the Google form, okay, as we discuss them. So no need to waste time for that, because as we discuss, you can just rate the question. So this will actually help to assess the overall level of the question paper. Okay, and then we can, all the teachers can just submit the form at end of the question paper discussion. Because as we said, we are not here to discuss the answers, because everyone is familiar with the answers, but we will be discussing the pattern change, okay? The level of questions or the types of questions which has come in the question paper, and what we can learn from this sample question paper, so that we can make the students ready for the upcoming board examination. So I think the link
Yes, I have already pasted the link.
Okay, okay, it's posted now. I think link is, all can see that link. Is the link visible?
Teachers, are you able to click on the link and go to the page?
Yes, ma'am. The link is available in the chat box. Teachers are able to do it.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Shall we continue now?
Yes. So the first section, section A. So section A already Gayatri mentioned. Very challenging questions will be there, because to get the marks and to lose the marks is very it's very easy in this. Either they can get the marks or sometimes they will lose also. So MCQ questions we have 15, and then assertion reason we have 3 questions. So total here 18 marks are there. Okay, so we start with the first question. So the first question, we can just see the few MCQ questions. Okay, just to give an awareness. So all the chapters together, we have some few MCQ questions. So MCQ question you can just rate as we go with the first question. According to Coulomb's law, which is the correct relation for the following figure? So the first chapter, the electrostatics, we know Coulomb's law is very familiar question. So the positive charges, so it's a attractive force. So the answer here will be the option 2. So it's a very straight question, but still the students can make a mistake. Yeah.
Okay, moving on to the next MCQ question. The question is about electric potential and electric field. So here the question is actually a direct question, but the students, there is a chance of making an error, because without reading the question properly, that's what usually a physics exam, they'll be full of like tension. So they don't read the question properly, they'll just start writing the answer. So here they have given the terms, I mean, distance, R and all that. So students will, like, they will take it to be the question on electric field, and then can answer like V by 2 and all that, give answers like V by 2 and all that, because the equation that comes to them immediately is E axial is equal to 2 equatorial, but here potential is asked. So the potential at a point at a distance or the equatorial line is asked. So the answer here is 0. As you all know, the answer is 0. So it's like if they don't read it properly, they will go wrong.
Okay, the third question. They have given 2 graphs. And of course, we are getting a lot of graph questions when we come to the CBSE, because it's all concept. We teach always the students that resistivity, how is the variation of resistivity temperature. So in the graph also you can see, in one case that resistivity is decreasing with temperature, and the next case the resistivity is increasing with temperature. So resistivity increasing with temperature, of course, we know it's students will be able to identify it's a copper and the other is germanium. So you can just see where is the germanium and copper available. So quickly they can mark the answer as 2. Okay, so it's a concept. Okay, though it's a simple question. So we have the second option.
Now coming to the fourth question in the MCQ section. 2 concentric and coplanar loops P and Q have their radio in the ratio 2:3. Loop Q carries a current 9 ampere in the anti-clockwise direction, and for the magnetic field to be 0 at the common center, what is the current in the loop P? So this is similar questions are there in the NCERT exercise. So once a child has attempted it and has done it, he will find it easy to do, but otherwise it's going to be like a more critical thinking question. So here it is given that the current in one of the loop is in the clockwise direction. So definitely for the magnetic field to be 0, the current in the other loop must be in the opposite direction. So looking at that, first of all, they can eliminate the question, the third option, and then using the equation, solve it to find out the exact value of the current. So here the equation is at the magnetic field at the center given by mu 0 I by 2R. So we have just put the solution also, so that teachers also, we can just have a look at the solution very easily. Moving on to the next question.
Okay, now the fifth question. It is actually it's a magnetic effects of current question, but then it is a little bit they have to apply. They have to think. Critical thinking is there because see, long straight wire of cross sectional area. The radius is given A, and the current is uniformly distributed across this cross section. We want to find the ratio of the magnitude of magnetic field at a point A/2 above the surface of wire to the point which is A/2 below the surface. So that part the students can make a mistake. Okay, but then when you do it, apply this is the solution, like you can just apply this as cross-sectional area. So what they have mentioned is total area is A, but then you can we can be outside. Okay, so if I take a cap like this, so the area of this is A, but a point outside this. Okay, so you have to apply the Ampere's circuital law to the outside, that is the P point marked here. So the area will be A plus A/2. So that part, and the second one is inside. So total area is total radius is A minus A/2. So that part will be A/2 only. Radius will be A/2. So you have to apply the Ampere's circuital law to this one, this side only. So that part, so students can make a small mistake. So we have to make them practice this. How is the area change by drawing a figure, a small figure, to show how is the radius is varying outside the radius and the inside. In both the case, they have to apply the Ampere's circuital law. Okay, so like the two equations we will get, then they can easily divide this and they can find the answer as 4/3. So it's the application level question.
Coming to the next one, if the magnetizing field of a ferromagnetic material is increased, what happens to its permeability? So this is where like a direct question, and if this child knows the equation, he can definitely write the answer. So the answer here is it decreases. The permeability decreases with increase in magnetizing field.
Move on to 7th question. So in between, let me interrupt the just ask. I think everybody is marking the Google form given to you. Each question you are rating. I hope so. As we move on to 7th question, this is an inductor given iron core. It's a connected series with a bulb with an AC source. Now an iron piece is taken out of the coil. So they can ask you taken out or taken inside. So that all depends on the question. So iron piece is taken out. So when the iron piece is taken out, how is the brightness of the bulb related to that? So very normally from AC, the similar type questions are asked. So, but the students should be made to practice the iron core taken outside or inside. So like that question, we have to make them practice. So here you have to use the formula of I is equal to E by XL, since it is an inductor. XL taken out, so XL get reduces and inversely proportional to I. So you have the answer as increase, second option.
Now the next question is, which of the following statement is not true about the electromagnetic waves? So any child who knows about the properties of the electromagnetic waves can give the answer very easily. So this is a very easy question actually. So both they have asked which of the statement is not true. So the wrong statement here is both electric and magnetic fields are parallel to each other. So the option 4 is the answer.
Okay, 9th question. Okay, reading and understanding this question is very important because they have given 4 shapes and similar type question they can ask. Here, all the 4 shapes they are given is rectangular, square, circular, and elliptical loop. So different loops. Okay, and they are all in the XY plane are moving out of the uniform magnetic field. Okay, they have asked the magnetic field is directly on the Z axis. Now the question is induced EMF. Of course, then when the loops are moving outside or inside, we know induced EMF is there. But the question is, in which case, which loop the induced EMF is not remaining constant. So I can just show you the figure to make it more clear. So we can also, the picture representation is very important when this type of question comes. So in the picture, you can see there's a picture given and a square. So the area, the rate of change in area is a constant. Okay, we all know, but then students can make a mistake. In the square also, square or rectangle, that is remaining constant. But what is the question? Which is not constant. So circle and ellipse, when it is moving out, so you get the shaded part, the area, okay, the rate of change of area is not constant. So if it is not constant, we know EMF is also not constant. So this type of question, we have to make them draw and try to understand the concept. Okay, as teachers, we should tell them to draw and see in which case area is not constant. So because the question, they will say which is constant. So they will just mark. So which is not constant. So here in this case is area, rate of change of area is not constant in the circle and the ellipse. So the answer for that will be I think already the Gayatri has shown the answer 2, I think. Yeah.
Yes. The next question is about Young's double slit experiment, where the path difference at a certain point on the screen for the interfering waves is 1/8 of the wavelength. And they've asked to find out the ratio of the intensity of that point to that at the center of the bright fringe. So here, actually, though in the deleted portions, they have told that we need not go into more details about the topic on YDSC, but we are asked to give them all the final equations. So here, this question is based on finding out the ratio of intensity. So intensity equation, we must be already teaching them to answer this question. So I is equal to 2 I naught into 1 plus cos phi. We can use that equation. And in the first case, at the center, phi is 0. There's no phase difference between the waves reaching at the point in the center. And the case given in the question, where you have the lambda by 8 for 2 pi, we know it is lambda. So the phase difference is lambda by 8 of the given wavelength. So you will get it as pi by 4. So taking the ratio, the answer is 0.85. So this is again an application question based on the formula of YDSC.
Now moving on to the 11th question. It is from dual nature of matter and radiation. So work function they are given 4.14 electron volt. You want to find the threshold wavelength. Now, okay, if all the students will be knowing the threshold, the value is W is equal to H nu 0, but they have given the wavelength, so you can convert that to C by lambda 0. Student here, that what they forget is electron volt, they have to convert to joules, because what here Armstrong is given. So electron volt conversion, so that at this one point we should make, when we start the chapter, say electron volt to joules, we have to multiply it with 1.6 into 10 raised to minus 19. And one more thing we can make the students here is that the formula, it is HC by lambda 0 is equal to the 4.14 into 1.6 into 10 raised to minus 19. So in that part, only the thing which is varying is 4.14. Left everything there, we can make them to already calculate and keep. Like when we rearrange that, we will get it as 6.6 into 10 raised to minus 34 into 3 into 10 raised to 8 by 1.6 into 10 raised to minus 9. That part is it's same. So that part they can already, we can make them to do it and keep it. So only what they have to do is divide by the value given is 4.14. So that value, the 19.8 into 10 raised to minus 7, when we do the calculation, that will get, and then divide with 4.14. So the constant value, we can make the student to already do it and keep. So exam point of view, no need to waste time, because time is also important. So that part they can calculate and keep it with them, and whatever the value of work function they give you, they have to just do that. Okay, so that will make the work easier.
Now the next question is from the chapter on atoms. So here the radius of the innermost electron orbit of hydrogen atom is given as 5.3 into 10 to the power minus 11 meter, and the radius of the n equal to third orbit is asked. So this is actually direct, where the child can use the equation R is proportional to n square and find out the answer. So if he's good in calculation, then the answer is can be obtained very easily. So what we have to stress is that we have to give after the topics are taught, we have to give a lot of practice questions to the students so that they are able to solve it in the given time.
Okay, moving on to the 13th question. It's a very, very easy question, but the question here is which statement about nuclear force is not true? Okay, so that not is very important. So looking into that, we know the second option, nuclear force is much weaker. So that is a very direct question. Okay, so that is second option. So not much explanation is needed.
Now, this is again an application-based question. All the students must have learned about the derivations, because we know last moment we teach them about the important derivations usually. So we teach them the equation for impedance of the LCR circuit and all that. But here it's an application question asked. So if the reading of the voltmeter V1 is 40 volts, then what's the reading of the voltmeter V2? So this part, it's an LC combination, and you have also a resistor here. So it is given that the voltage across the LC combination is V1 and that across the resistor is V2. So here we have to take the VL minus VC as 40 volts, and then we have to find V2. You are given the applied voltage as 50 root sine omega t. So here you have to calculate the ERMS value and then find the answer using the equation for the LCR circuit effective voltage. So the equation is here V is equal to root of VR square plus VL minus VC the whole square. So this is a solution where you have VL minus VC as 40 volt and VR we can find out. Okay, so this is just knowing the equation will not help. The student should have practice in doing such type of questions. Okay.
Now the next question, is again a graph question. As we mentioned, we should know the topic very, then only they will be able to do. Now this is a B versus distance graph, and we have to plot the electric field versus distance, which is the correct option. So we know the first part, if you see here, we know the formula is E is equal to minus dV by dx. Okay, that every students know. But how to apply that to here? Because here the slope is giving you E, slope. And slope is what? That is minus dV by dx. So slope is a constant here. So in this part, slope is constant. So this part, but this is ruled out. Okay, this will not. But here E is constant, that is fine. But then here we have minus dV by dx. So this part should be negative. Okay, so we will get an answer. Only this is the correct option here, because for the first itself we will get the answer. So you have to just see the slope, first part only, second part no need, because first part itself we will get an answer. So without wasting time, we can just use the formula E is to minus dV by dx. And what is C? It is slope, and slope is constant but in a negative value, because E and V are negative. E is equal to minus, so this part. Okay, so the option is 1. So it's an application based. I mean, critically thinking is involved in this particular question.
Now we have some assertion reasoning type of questions. So all of us are familiar with assertion reasoning questions. Since from last year, teachers are familiar, but we have to give enough practice to the students to attempt such questions. So here, the first question is the electrical conductivity of the semiconductor increases on doping. And the reason given is that doping always increases the number of electrons in the semiconductor. So here, the first statement is correct. But the second statement, doping increases the number of electrons. Definitely, it increases the number of electrons, but in addition, it also increases the number of holes. So both electrons and holes should have come. So the recent statement is false. So the answer here is option C. The next one in the assertion reasoning is again from interference. So here, in Young's double slit experiment, they have given that both capital D and small d are reduced to 1/3, what happens to the fringe width? And here they have given it is fringe width remains the same. So the first answer, the first assertion is correct. And the second part is just based on the equation, fringe width is proportional to d by d. So the equation given is wrong. It is capital D by d. So when we teach the students, we specifically they learn as d by d. So capital D by small d. So that is answer C here. And then coming to the third one, the photoelectrons produced by a monochromatic light beam incident on a metal surface have a spread in their kinetic energies. Yes, so all the electrons that come out of the after the photoelectric emission, they do not have the same kinetic energy. And this is because some energy is lost due to collision with other atoms in the metal. So the reason is exactly the correct explanation for assertion. So these are the assertion reasoning type of questions that we are most likely to come across. And we have to give a lot of practice to the students, giving them more questions of the assertion reasoning type.
So I think the 18th question, I mean, we have completed few MCQ question, and that requires little time because we have to solve and to find the answer. So I think all the teachers can submit the Google form now, so that towards then we can have a discussion regarding that.
Okay,
just
in the
to
meantime,
let us go with the section B, I think.
Yes, in the meantime,
Now,
we will proceed. So teachers, please submit the Google form and let us move on to section B.
Yeah, section B, as already we have briefed regarding this. We have 7 questions with 2 marks each, and we have 2 internal choice in the section B. We will not be elaborating this because we were practicing the section B, section C, section D questions earlier also. It will have a short question, very short question, long question type questions. So we are randomly selecting the 2-mark question. The first one which is selected is from electromagnetic wave. So it can be a direct question or it can be a problematic question. Like that they can give for the 2-mark question. Now here, lambda 1 is a radar like they have given. You have to identify. So lambda 1 is suitable for radar system used in aircraft navigation. So we have to identify which of the electromagnetic wave suits radar system. Similarly, the kills germs in water purifier. Then improve visibility in runway along fog and mist condition. So the 3 electromagnetic wave you have to identify, and then you have to rearrange. So the marking scheme for the section B onwards is important because MCQs already we know it's 1 mark. Here, marking scheme. So if you talk about the marking scheme, the first one identification carries half marks. Second identification carries half marks. Third identification carries half marks, and the ascending order that also carry half marks. So total 2 marks. If the ascending order, if they write one thing correct, the other one wrong, we will not be able to give them marks.
Now moving on to some questions again. Since we have shortage of time, and we are also familiar with the short answer and long answer type questions. And the most important thing is that we have to make the students aware about the marking scheme, how the mark distribution is given. If it is a derivation, the students have to draw the diagram. Then for the final answer, for writing the unit, all these carry marks. For if it's an optics based question, for drawing the ray diagram, we have to put the arrows. So all these are things we tell the students every year. So now let's move on to one more question from this here. A biconvex lens made of transparent material of refractive index 1.25 is immersed in water of refractive index 1.33. Will the lens behave as a converging or a diverging lens? So this is a question we teachers have seen from years. So this is actually a very direct question where the child has to apply the lens maker's formula. And if the refractive index of the medium in which the lens is immersed is greater, then it will behave like a diverging lens. So the mark distribution here is for writing the formula. So everywhere the student has to write the formula first. Equations, writing of the equation is very important in physics, as we all know. So this is the lens maker's formula, writing it that half mark. Then the next concept where you have to take mu as the lens is placed in a medium, not in air. So that concept again half mark, substitution half mark, and the final result also showing that it is a diverging lens carries the next half mark. Now, shall we go to section C?
Yes, section C. So section 2, we have 2 marks and a few questions we have taken. Now section C, it is a 3-mark question. So 3 marks, then internal 2 choices they will be giving. So there are few. So we have to select one question here. Now one question we have taken a direct question. Every time this question is asked, the 2 long straight parallel conductors carrying current I1 and I2 separated by distance. So you have to show the magnetic field produced by one exert an attractive force on the other, and obtain the expression for the force between the 2 wires, and hence define ampere. So these are very direct question, but still the students can make a mistake by drawing the figure. That means the magnetic field, marking of magnetic field is important. So here we have the diagram. So diagram is important here. So the diagram, so every time the board will change pattern. So this time they have given half marks. So sometimes they will give 1 mark also. So that depends on. So diagram here half marks, then the derivation 1.5, and definition of ampere. Okay, that carries 1 marks.
Now moving on to an application question here. I don't know if you can read the question because since I'm sharing the screen, I can't see the first line of the question.
Yes, we can see.
Yes. Okay. So the magnetic field, something is there, and then it's given to be 8.5 ohm resistance. It changes with time as shown in the figure. So the magnetic field is perpendicular to the plane of the loop. Calculate the current induced in the loop and plot a graph showing induced current as a function of time. So this is related to Faraday's laws of electromagnetic induction, where the student has to mathematically calculate the current. So here, actually, this is a graph interpretation question. Student has to interpret the graph and take the values from the graph and calculate the current, and then plot a graph for the induced current. So here they have given graph for B with T, and we have to plot a graph for induced current as a function of time. So basically the formula is simple, E is equal to minus d phi by dt, but the student must be able to know to interpret the graph and apply it into the formula. So looking into the solution, we know that E is minus d phi by dt, and substituting for phi as B into A, and taking A outside because it is B that is varying along with time, A into dB by dt. So changing as B2 minus B1 by T2 minus T1, we have to now calculate the change in magnetic field for the different time intervals given. So they have given different time intervals, and for each of the time intervals, we have to calculate the induced current. So in the first case, from the graph, we have to take the values of B2 and B1 and then find out the value of induced current. Second case also, it is direct because it's simple, more simple because you are getting it to be 0. And the third case, again, calculating the induced current for the third time interval given, and then plotting the graph for the same. So this requires a lot of concepts, a lot of mixed concepts coming together, and then and an amount of critical thinking also. So students need to practice such questions again. That's more important. Suddenly, a student sees it at the time of the exam, it will be very difficult for him to interpret it. Now, shall we, since we have less time, shall we move on to section D now? Okay.
So I think we can proceed with the section D. Now section D, it's 5-mark question. Earlier we used to do long answer type questions. So here we have 3 questions, and all the 3 questions we have an internal choice. But the thing is, for 2-3 years, the CBSE is not putting a single question. They are dividing the big question into small, like subparts. Okay, they are dividing the subparts. So here also we have a section D, 3 questions. So randomly we can select one question. I think we can go with the problematic question, Gayatri. This is a direct question, I think.
Yeah, this is a
The ray of
problem.
fixed question, that's a problem. Yeah, this is a problem. I think problem, because the students will be, they will be thinking about direct question they will get and 5 marks they will get. So, but what the CBSE did, they did this, they are giving a wave and ray combination, because optics are such a single chapter. So they have given the first part as the wave optics and the second part ray optics. So that is also important. So if they leave one part, the full 5 marks they will not be getting in the board. So first part is direct actually, because we have to draw the graph, okay, graph showing the variation in the intensity pattern, which we normally ask the students to draw for a diffraction pattern. Okay, diffraction, the intensity variation. So that part is fine. But second part is a problem. So here they have given a PQ ray is falling here. And what they have to trace the path of the ray as it passes, and also calculate the angle of emergence and the angle of deviation. So if you look at the answer key, you can see that the first part direct, they will draw the graph. Okay, that part is okay. The second part, I think Gayatri can show the answer. Yeah, first part, this is the graph. Okay, that the students will score the marks. A part, I think. The first part I'm discussing. The
Yes.
intensity distribution, that they will get the marks. Okay, fine. Yes. So intensity distribution, okay, they will do, and the comparison with the that part also okay. The first part is okay, because width of the central maximum is twice the secondary maximum, we teach them. Okay, but the direct derivation is not there for the diffraction, but the formulas, the CBSE told we have to teach them formula. So that part is okay. The second part, it's a problem where they are given a ray is falling. Gayatri?
Yes, this is this. You want the answer?
Yeah, answer, because I just showed the figure.
Yes. Okay.
So, not this, the first one. Yes. So the PQ, the ray is falling. Okay, that is a normal. So that will draw directly to this. Okay, it will come here. The question is, you have to find what is the angle of emergence and what is the critical angle. Now, critical angle formula they should know. Okay, mu is 1 by sin C, we teach them. So from that, the C value they can calculate. Okay, so the critical angle we will get. So once we get the critical angle, we know when the light rays falls. That is they should know the concept. When the ray falls on the critical angle, the ray should gaze along the surface. And when the ray gaze along the surface, what will be this angle? That students, we should make them know that this angle, okay, which is acting as your E value, that becomes 90 degree. Okay, so that 90 degree we will get from that. And already I, we know it is, since it is falling normally, the I will be 0 degree. So that part we will get critical angle. And from that, we know formula for the diffraction. Gayatri, the slide for the answer. That I think you have changed that. Again, it came to the question. Yeah. So from this, we will get the formula. This formula we teach them in the prism. I plus E is A plus tau. So by substituting I, we already from the figure we will get. So that concept they should know. When the ray is falling, normally the I is 0, so that they can substitute and they will get the answer for the dot. And the similarly is the OR question for this. That also they have clubbed OR question, Gayatri. So the OR question also they have given a difference. So the first part is direct 2 point of difference they are given from the wave optics, but the second part is again related to the prism formula. So here also they have to apply that and they have to find the answer. Okay, so we have to teach them that optics, full wave and ray both can be combined and they can give. So that is regarding the 5 mark questions. Randomly we have discussed the answer, the scheme of marking also, the wave optics and the ray optics, they are divided the 5 marks. Okay, so like this they have divided. So you can see the marking scheme. Yes, sir. Okay, Gayatri. This is OR question also. The first part, it is 1.5, and the second part also they have, it's a problem. So there we will be getting a 3.5 marks. So total we have the 5 marks. Yes, guys.
Okay, now we move on to section E. So it's almost time, Ranjit sir. Do we have time to continue the section E also? The last
Please,
section.
ma'am, please proceed.
Okay. So here, actually, case-based questions, they give a paragraph, and based on the paragraph, they ask questions. So till last year they had introduced this case-based questions, but last year the questions were MCQ type. So this is a major change we have to note. This year, the questions after the paragraph, the questions given are 1 mark questions, but where we have to write answers as short answers, not MCQ type questions. And the passage, as we have checked the sample paper, we have come to know that, I don't know if teachers have noticed that this paragraph has been taken from the textbook. It is actually paragraph 9.8 in the textbook. So we should insist the students to learn to read the NCERT textbook, especially when questions of case-based questions come. They have to read through each sentence. Like, I don't know, like even we did not notice such a sentence here in the second question. In modern microscopes, multi-component lenses are used for both the objective and the eyepiece. Why? So this is a line from the textbook, section 9.8. So for students must be very thorough about the textbook. We should make them practice reading the textbook. Normally, we know students learn from other guides, and they learn from some YouTubes also now. But we should ask them to read the textbook properly, especially when it comes to case-based questions. So here, based on optical instruments, they've asked the question. And the questions, why the image formed at infinity is often considered for most suitable for viewing. The answer is like it's for the relaxed eye, and so that there's not much stress or strain caused to our eye. And regarding the second part, multi-component lenses are used in the textbook itself. The answer is there for, it is given that these component lenses are used for a better image quality. And the next part of the questions are questions which we already see often, difference between microscope and telescope and all that. Okay, so this is the first question given. Now coming to
the section E, the second question is actually, it is from semiconductor. Yes, LED. And when we see this question, we will say it is not included this time in the syllabus actually. Because semiconductor diodes, the ordinary diode, P-N junction diode is only there. The special diodes are not there. So we often come like this, some CBSE is including some which is not there in the this time syllabus. So when we go for the marking scheme, I mean the evaluation. So if this type of question comes, we normally ask, or we give the representation from the school that this is not this time from the syllabus. So hopefully we will get the marks. But then one thing is that, anyway, we will just, because different types of LED, when we talk about the diodes, normally in the class, we can make a note of different types of diodes like LED. Earlier we used to study like that. We can just say for the sake, for the name of the name of sake, different types of diode. But question actually we have to, it is actually the page number 488 from the NCERT textbook. Same wordings they have taken from the NCERT, but since it is not this time included the syllabus, so much we can't say much for this question. So we can just see the answer, the solution for this. They have clearly given it is because 1.8 electron volt is already given in the passage. So the student can note this. So that is one idea they have introduced. Okay, and the another one they have given or question which is ordinary. Can you show the answer? I mean question, so that the teachers can see that questions. See here the second part of the question. What should be the order of band gap? Okay, so that already they have given in the passage. So we can't say it is out of syllabus. They have already given. And the third one, you can see okay, this one they won't be able to do because we are not teaching. But the or question is that how tactfully they have added this to because draw the VI character of PN junction diode, because that we are teaching. So if the student is not knowing the third question, they can do the option, third one. So we can't say it is out of syllabus because ordinary diode we are teaching. But the first part, we may get a, when we can ask for, because LED made up of compound semiconductor and not of elemental, that part only we can teach in LED. But introduction of semiconductor, they have clearly given what are the elemental and the compound semiconductors. So that part, okay, some part they have given. Okay, but only one first question we can ask. Okay, we can just represent that it is not directly coming under the present syllabus. Okay, so I think a few case study, because case study is the recent the change which has occurred because they have introduced 2 case study questions with no multiple choice. I mean, they have to write short answer type. So we have just included 2 this case study question. Okay, with this we have just overall we have covered the sample paper. I think, sir, I think 2 minutes only we have taken extra. Is that correct, sir?
No issue, no issue.
Sample,
That's good.
Sample paper discussion. Okay, we have covered all the question pattern. That is MCQ, which is including AR, then short question, then a very short question, long question, and the case study. And the case study, we have just included one question here. So it is from the magnetism chapter. And of course, we can get the case study question from that because so many paragraphs are there in the textbook. So we have just given for reference. So that is one we have included. And the second one also we have taken from the second one. It is just for a reference. We have framed the question. The second one is from Gayatri. Can you show the second one? So here we have, no, the previous one, the 30, the addition question. No, okay, fine. Yeah, this question is from magnetism. So we have just added like, can 2 magnetic field lines intersect? And then the previous one, yeah. And what are the magnetic lines of force? Write any 2 properties. So everything is in the paragraph. So state any 2 similarities between current carrying solenoid and a barric magnet. So sometimes the students may skip this. And or question we have added here. So similarly, the other one we have taken from the electrostatics torque. So there also a paragraph is given. The critical thinking can be there, like they are here. The torque, see, the one problem has been added here. And the first one is just a direct part when it is in the uniform electric field. Similarly, they can ask you in a non-uniform electric field. So like that, and scrolling it, the third part. Okay, so this is a sample question we have given. I think I can't see the third part. Yes. See, this is a, you have to think a little bit here, like what happens when the electric dipole is held in non-uniform electric field. It is also given as a paragraph in the textbook. The second part is the application of that, like comb runs through dry hair, attracts small pieces of paper. Why? So that the student have to think and answer. And there's a or question given. This is a diagram. Okay, the diagram is included here. So that means when the electric dipole free to move in electric dipole is free to move in a dipole is placed in a non-uniform magnetic field. You have to draw, represent in a diagram. I mean, a diagrammatic parallel to electric field and perpendicular electric field. So these are also given in the textbook. So in the paragraph, it is there. So like that case study, we can practice. You can just make the paragraphs. Like we have noticed in the semiconductor chapter, the filter circuit. Okay, filter circuits are given in the textbooks. Okay, which is used to, that is in the 484 page. They have given a paragraph question where the rectified voltage is in the form of pulses. Okay, and then we can use a capacitor. So what is the use of that? Like filter circuits. Okay, so filter out the AC ripples. So like that, they can give a paragraph there. And also we can expect the paragraph from the nuclear. Okay, nuclear chapter. Okay, so many paragraph questions are there. So we can ask them, actually, after finishing the question, we can ask the students to make you can divide the topic and ask the student to bring 2 paragraphs and their questions so that it can be put across the students rather than we giving them so many questions. I think we can give them paragraphs, like even in the electromagnetic waves. So many paragraphs can be, the whole chapter can be divided into paragraphs, and we can ask the students to bring the questions and put across the students. So in a way, we can read the whole chapter as such. So I think we have discussed the different types of questions which came for the CBSE introduced recently in the sample paper. Now we can just randomly see how the teachers have rated the question, which we have already we have marked the teachers are marked in the Google Form link. So let's just see how is the rating done by the teachers. It's just to analyze different question how the CBSE is. So randomly we can take
we have received some 24 responses from the teachers.
I think few more to submit, I think.
So this is the graph.
Yeah, this is the graph for the first question, MCQ first question. So what is the rating here is like, you can see is the question difficult? So of course, as we said, it is not that difficult. So majority teachers are marked. So difficult question, it can like them. Then critically thinking, so that question is not that, see the orange, agree.
But the teachers have agreed that it involves critical thinking and reasoning.
Does the question involve critical thinking? Yes, I think they have agreed to that, because
Yes.
the two charges they are, so students should think that it is attractive force. I think they should little bit think. Okay, it's easy question, but critically they have to think. Then also
moving on over to the 5th question.
yes, here.
The 5th question. The question is, teachers have rated it to be, they have agreed that it's a difficult question, and it is strong. It is appropriate to the marks, and it involves critical thinking. You can see the graph is going high. The question is also lengthy. The question is lengthy, but the teachers have liked the question. All of them would be reuse this question. Okay.
Yes, because that is a very, so all the questions like that.
Any other question, or shall
so when we think the question is critically challenging, so I think the students will also, that will be a critically challenging question. The some are easy. So this is the rating done by the teachers for, I think 18 questions we made them to do. Correct, no?
Yes,
So,
question number 14 also, most of them say it is critical thinking.
Yes, 14th question, yes.
So the thing is, CBSE has introduced competency-based questions, which involves a lot of critical thinking. So it's up to us to now give more practice to the students to come across to solve such questions. So shall we just stop this? Any more question to discuss?
So I think, so this is from our side. Now we would like to, so I think from our side, we did a small presentation. Now we would like to have suggestions or the queries from
Yeah,
your
dear
side.
participants, any clarification and any suggestions, you can unmute and ask to them. Any doubts regarding the presentation, any doubts regarding to the portion, syllabus, questions, anything, you can feel to ask now. Those who are, can ask the chat box also. Those who are ready to ask, unmute and ask, you can ask. Any doubts, any clarification, anything. And Swapna ma'am and Gayatri ma'am, you have done well. That's why there is no doubts. I think so.
Nice to hear that, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So that's why teachers are
But the
not
teachers
asking
can,
any doubts.
Teachers can, like, I think we could Yeah, practicals. Yeah. So practicals, I think I have to add one thing. This time practical, there's a change occurred, 30 marks practicals. The experiments, earlier we used to do 15 experiments, now we have to do only 8 experiments. So that's a relaxation, but they have added the activity. Earlier it was teacher demonstration, but this time we have the students have to do. From the section A, you can select 3 activities, section B also 3 activity. So total 6 activity we should make the students to do. Okay, but the exam point of view, we can keep only 3 activities. Total 6, any 3 activity, whichever is easy, we feel we can keep. And one more thing is that this time they have introduced a project. So earlier we used to do, but this time they have introduced. Last time it was not there because of the the pandemic, but now they have introduced included the project also. So it's better we give some project which is based on 12th standard topic itself we are doing, but then which can build their concept. Like we have, me and Gayatri have given them to do mutual induction experiment by changing the number of turns. Okay, when we increase the number of turns, how is the bulb lighting of the bulb? Okay, number of turns n by 2 times, like that we have we make them do and measure. Then transformer, we ask the students to do step up and step down transformer. Then we ask them to do the prism, because we have not included prism in the practicals. So prism we are making them to do with the air as the medium, and also hollow prism where the liquid is included in that. I mean water we are using. Then we also did the designing of telescope, where the 2 lenses the students will be using, and changing the lenses, the 2 magnification. A team of 4, we are selecting the student, a team of 4, and together they will be doing. Then this time we also made them to do the Wheaton's bridge using the bulbs. Okay, by changing the bulb pattern, they will, whether it is balanced, P by Q, R by S, if it is matching or not matching, they can show. They can take a pic of that and including in their project report. They are writing the project report, so they can include in that. And then we this time we also included the lenses in contact or out of contact. So that also, if you are giving the in contact in the practicals, you can do the out of contact in the project. If you are doing out of contact, then we can do the in contact as the project we can do. Then we did meter bridge, since we are doing in is the resistance. So this time we made them to do the we changed the material of the wire, like nichrome, and you can use the nichrome on the copper or the constantin. So 2 different materials we have selected, and we have made them to the resistivity. Okay, and also we can use the Ohm's law, where the length changes length, either meter bridge or the Ohm's law, change the length or the area. So the wires students can do, and they can exchange. Like 4 students are there, so they can exchange that. I think Gayatri can add on to that. I think what we did. Anything else we have?
Yeah, I think you have told almost, Sapta, all those experiments you have mentioned, whatever we made them do this year.
Yes. Then also internal resistance. Okay, internal resistance theory is there this time. So internal resistance we can do, but not the potential. But the thing is, like project now, since we have marks for that, the students should be thorough with what they're doing. I think AC generator also we did, no, Gayatri? We forgot that. AC generator we did, but AC generator, the students did, I think, 4,000 turns of the coil. It took some time, but they did finally, because that was the last batch. I think 2 days back only they submitted. So it's working. The LED bulb is glowing. So with so much turns of wire, they did the AC generator also. So that also the students did. So all the topic which is difficult for them, so that we are making them to do, and we are showing that in the class. So these students did, and also I think that will improve their concept building. So anything else?
Yeah, one chat box query regarding certification. Ma'am, you have to submit the Google form and scan the QR code and pay the ₹100. Once you pay the amount and submit the Google form, you will receive the certificate through the mail after the 3 working days. That is the procedure for get the e-certification.
Sir, we would
Any
like to
other
have a
subject-wise
feedback.
queries? Any other subject-wise queries?
Yes, yes. We are waiting for that because we can also
Improve.
yeah,
We can
improve.
also improve when they
Because when
You
somebody
can
asks in the
unmute
class,
and-
somebody asks, then only we.
You can unmute and ask, or you can use the chat box.
Anything from the theory part or practical part?
It's a
In our
well
school, we
explained
conducted
section.
the,
That's why there is no doubts.
we have conducted one practical exam in our school. 30 marks, 15 marks, first term, 4 experiments we conducted just to give them awareness regarding practicals. Because in COVID time, it was very difficult. So I think, so anyone else?
I think there is no other doubts, ma'am. Otherwise, they will ask now. Anyway, on behalf of Central Sahoda School Conclave, Kottayam and Council of CBSE Schools of Kerala, we are really thankful both resource person, Gayatri ma'am and Sapna ma'am.
Sir, one,
Is
sir,
it po-
sir,
yeah,
can I-
is it possible to communicate to you, ma'am, if necessary, if needed?
yes, sure, sure. I think
Yes,
sir is having
sure.
our number. No? So should we post our number here, sir? Or
You
sir
can
will-
you can use the chat box and you can post a number with a name, so the participants able to ask any doubt. They can ask a doubt. Many times I posted the Google form, sir. Which Google form you are asking for? The year certificate Google form. So I will post once again.
So Gayatri, you can also post your number.
Yeah, Sarji, it's not a feedback form, it's a certificate, e-certificate form. Nowadays, we are not collecting feedback form from the participants because sorting the certificate and feedback, it's a hectic schedule for us. That's why we rescheduled the form like only e-certificate. And we are asking the feedback directly only. So you can, if you need the certificate, you can submit the certification Google form. I already forwarded to the group. So let me complete on behalf of Central Sahoda School Conclave Kottayam and Council of CBSE Schools of Kerala. We are really fortunate to have both resource person today, and sincerely thanking both of you for the effective session they have presented over here. Thank you very much, ma'am. Decoding sample question paper and marking scheme, you done it well. We are waited for much for section in future also. Thank you very much, both of you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for giving this opportunity.
Okay, so good night to all and namaste to all. We are officially winding up the session.